Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Iran and the United States remain divided over the scope and mechanism of sanctions relief in exchange for limits on Tehran's nuclear program. A senior Iranian official said that while both sides are engaged, significant differences persist on how and when sanctions should be lifted. The official added that renewed talks are scheduled for early March, with the possibility of reaching an interim agreement.
Iran has reportedly agreed to a secret $589 million arms deal with Russia for thousands of advanced shoulder-fired missiles. According to a Financial Times report, the agreement was signed in Moscow in December and includes 500 Verba launch units and 2,500 9M336 missiles to be delivered between 2027 and 2029. The deal was said to be negotiated between Russia's state arms exporter Rosaboronexport and Iran's defense ministry. The Pakistan Air Force carries out intelligence-based airstrikes on terrorist hideouts in Afghanistan's Paktika and Nangarhar provinces, following recent suicide attacks inside Pakistan, targeting camps linked to the banned Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan (TTP) and Islamic State, Khorasan Province (ISKP). 7 terrorist camps were reportedly destroyed, and a commander identified as Akhtar was killed. Loud explosions were reported in the Bamal and Argun districts of Paktika and in Kogyani, Ghani Kel, and Behsoud areas of Nangarhar. The strikes come after attacks in Islamabad, Bajaur, and Bannu, including an assault on an imam bargah during Ramadan, which Pakistan alleges were orchestrated by Afghanistan-based TTP leadership. The Bajaur attack killed 11 soldiers, and 12 militants were later killed in a Pakistani response. The U.S. Secret Service says its agents have shot and killed a man in his 20s after he attempted to breach a secure perimeter at Mar-a-Lago early Sunday. The agency said the man was carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel can when he approached the resort's north gate around 1:30 a.m. President Donald Trump was in Washington at the time. Authorities said the suspect's intentions remain unclear. U.S. President Donald Trump hosted state governors at a black-tie dinner at the White House, calling them essential partners in his agenda and ahead of the upcoming 250th anniversary of American independence. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth led a prayer, and Vice President J.D. Vance also delivered remarks. The event coincided with the annual meeting of the National Governors Association, a gathering that traditionally includes sessions with cabinet officials and a White House dinner. Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen has rejected President Trump's proposal to send a U.S. Navy hospital ship to the Arctic territory, saying no thanks. Trump said he was working with Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry to dispatch the hospital ship Mercy. Nielsen said Greenland remains open to dialogue and cooperation, including with the United States, but urged Washington to engage directly instead of making announcements on social media. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer has said that countries that reach tariff deals with Washington have not indicated plans to withdraw, despite Friday's Supreme Court ruling striking down a large portion of President Donald Trump's tariffs. Speaking on CBS, Greer said he is in active discussions, including with his counterpart from the European Union.
Russia has launched a large-scale missile and drone assault on Ukraine, targeting key energy infrastructure. The overnight barrage included dozens of strike drones, as well as ballistic and cruise missiles, with at least one person reported killed. Strikes were reported in Kyiv and surrounding areas, the Black Sea port of Odessa, and several central regions, including Dnipro, Kirovohrad, Mykolaiv, Poltava, and Sumy. A police officer has been killed and 24 others wounded in multiple bomb explosions in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv. Ukraine's national police say homemade explosive devices detonated around midnight. The first blast occurred after a patrol unit responded to a suspected shop break-in, with a second explosion following shortly afterward. Authorities have launched an investigation into the incident.
Pope Leo has made an appeal for peace in Ukraine during his weekly Angelus address in St. Peter's Square, saying an end to the 4-year conflict cannot be postponed. The appeal comes as Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022, and Ukrainian officials reported fresh drone and missile attacks overnight. The United States continues efforts to mediate between Moscow and Kiev, though progress remains limited.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva says his country does not want a new Cold War ahead of his upcoming meeting with US President Donald Trump. Speaking at a press conference in New Delhi at the end of his 3-day visit to India, Lula urged Washington to treat all nations equally and avoid deepening global divisions. He emphasized that Brazil does not seek to interfere in other countries' affairs and supports balanced international relations.
Australia's government rejects reports that it is repatriating Australians held in a Syrian camp with families of suspected Islamic State militants. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said no official repatriation efforts are underway, and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese confirmed the government will not assist the group's return. The matter is politically sensitive amid rising support for right-wing anti-immigration parties. Islamic State is classified as a terrorist organisation in Australia, with membership punishable by up to 25 years in prison. And it appears that giant appetites have fueled the incredible performances at the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics, as organisers revealed that athletes consumed roughly a ton of Grana Padano cheese over 16 days. They also went through 365 kilograms of pasta daily, 10,000 eggs, 8,000 coffees, and 12,000 slices of pizza. Up to 4,500 meals were served each day in Milan alone, with thousands more in Cortina and Predazzo. Despite tight deadlines and venue delays, organisers declared the games a success ahead of the closing ceremony in Verona.
That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.